I am not an uninvolved observer from the World Bank or such institutions. I am a person who lives in the heart of Europe with my family, children, grandchildren. So I'm really interested in what is going on there. This is not for me an academic exercise. So when you say that everything is okay, but the introduction of the euro, of the common currency, was a premature solution, I can't accept that term premature. It's a total understatement. It misses the point. It was a tragic and wrong decision. It was not a premature decision. We have to look at it clearly and correctly. It has dramatic consequences for Europe. So to neutralistically say premature decision is really just interesting for an academic scholar, not for a person who lives on the European continent. Third, you speak about the lessons from America. Well, I studied the American lesson a very long time, and I still remember 10 years old National Bureau of Economic Research study with the title, "How long did it take the United States to become an optimal currency area?" Maybe some of you remembers that study. And you may remember that the answer was that it took 150 years, and it was necessary to fight a civic war in the meantime. And the last sentence of the study is that hopefully it will not last that long in Europe. So to speak innocently about a premature decision is for me really, really unacceptable. You recommend the acceleration of the European unification process a la United States. Again, for me, unacceptable idea. Simply, the people in Europe, do not want to create a unified continent a la United States of America. So to give us such recommendation is anti-democratic, violating the freedom of countries to decide their own future. And please don't give us such advices. I simply can't accept it. We are not a nation in Europe. And then you mentioned the necessity to make policy changes. I tried to explain that it's not about policy changes. It's a deeper issue. It's about a systemic change. I lived for decades in a communist era, and I remember Mr. Brezhnev was permanently organizing committees for introducing reforms in the communist system. And we then tried to tell our political leaders, please, this is not the issue of reforms. We must have a fundamental systemic change. It finally happened, and I hope it will happen in Europe as well. You say, again, for me, it's an unacceptable way of looking at things. Greece needs something. I don't think it's in connection with the Cato philosophy. Maybe I was wrong, but I quoted at the beginning. I said at the beginning of my speech that Cato believes in freedom, free markets, and minimal government. I don't understand Cato as an institution which believes in giving advices to sovereign governments by a group of sophisticated scholars. So please, let accept democracy as the prevailing principle and don't give advice to anyone. Definitely, institutions like the World Bank do not belong to the current world, so they should have been eliminated decades ago. But nevertheless, it's possible to do. And I remember I made a famous statement at the World Bank conference in the year 1990 when I was pushed to accept advice or how to do things in my country and even to pay for it. And I make a famous statement which Milton Friedman renamed as Klaus law. I said, I was Minister of Finance then, I said, I'm not ready to pay hard money for soft advice. So please don't give advice to countries. Like, let's make a change. You mentioned one figure about Italy. 70% of Italians want to stay in the EU. Why I don't mind, and I accept it. And nevertheless, I must tell you that the latest opinion poll in the Czech Republic says how many people want to introduce the euro. 6%. 6, not 16 or 60 or 66. 6. And how many people want to eventually, sometimes in the future, enter the Eurozone? 16, which means 6 plus 16 means 78% say no, never. So to play with those figures is a little bit more complicated. Thank you.
Thank you.